What's good, y'all? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles, and you are listening to Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where you know we always keep it real. Let's get straight into it, man. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Share with a friend and share with a friend, and let's get into some real talk. All right, boom, y'all. We gonna talk some Eagles. We gonna talk some Sixers. I know y'all wanna hear me talk about that. And we're going to talk about our midweek matchups and give our predictions for week 5 of the NFL season. I'll first start off with the Birds. Let's start off with that. And Howie Roseman, some way, somehow, has gone under the radar for some terrible moves he's made. Signing Bryce Huff was a bust move. Trading away Hassan Reddick was a mistake. If we want to really talk about these moves, Jordan Davis has been a miss. Nolan Smith has been a miss. These are first-round picks. I think with Howie Roseman, he is an extremely lazy GM when it comes to drafting defensive players. All he does is say, all right, who went to Georgia? I'm drafting them. That's all he does. He doesn't really take the time to really see, like, who are some defensive breakout stars, or not even just breakout stars, some defensive playmakers in college football. He just looks at what Kirby Smart has done in Georgia, in Athens, and says, oh, yeah, I'm going to get every guy on that defensive line. It's lazy. It's lazy. And so I know that, like, Howie Roseman has gone under the radar, and we're talking about Nick Sirianni. We're talking about Jalen Hurts. We're talking about this defense. We're talking about this offense. But if we're really going to keep it a bean, keep it a stack, and keep it real, Vic Fangio can't do that much with limited resources. It's like a chef. And you give the guy ramen noodles and you expect him to make a gourmet type of dinner. It's like, if you give the guy nothing, how can you expect him to make something out of nothing? Now, yes, against the Saints, they balled out, but can you expect this defense to do that game in, game out? No, you can't. You can't. You can't. And so ultimately, what did I say? I said that if Howie Roseman makes this BS move, and I won't even say a BS move, but if Howie Roseman flops with the Bryce Huff free agency signing and Nolan Smith is a bust, that's going to make trading away Hassan Reddick very, very bad. And we are seeing now both of those nightmares come true with trading away Hassan Reddick and then going ahead and getting his replacements, and whole time Brandon Graham is still the best defensive line guy on our team. So that's one thing. Howie Roseman, I know that Nick Sirianni is like at the top in terms of like blame, but like Howie Roseman is a second. Howie Roseman is second. Nick Sirianni is first, for sure. And if it wasn't for Howie Roseman's relationship with Jeffrey Lurie, do you really think that he would still be in Philly? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. But that's just me. I'm not saying like he's ass. Like, I'm not saying like he's terrible, because clearly we like the moves he's made, but you are judged on if your signings in free agency, your trades in free agency, if they pan out. And what Howie Roseman has done these past 2 off seasons have not been good enough. That's simply the facts. Simply the facts. Cooper DeJean. I'm sorry. Cooper DeJean needs to start. I don't even know why I said I'm sorry. I don't know why I said I'm sorry. The only explanation I can think as to why Cooper DeJean didn't start in the nickel off rip, didn't start in the slot off rip, is because he missed some of training camp with an injury. But we all see with our eyes, Avonte Maddox, he was a very good player at a certain point. He was. But injuries have derailed him in his career. His best days are behind him. Let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it real. Cooper DeJean needs to be in the slot. I can live with that. I can't live with Avonte Maddox being out there and Cooper DeJean just, being a punt returner and not seeing what we could do with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in the secondary. I can't live with not knowing how Cooper DeJean would do in this secondary. Now, if Cooper DeJean isn't good, if he's not ready, I want to at least just see it. I want to at least see it. And if he's not ready, all right, cool. That's a conversation for another day. But we at least have to see this guy show up and be there on this squad and play significant snaps, because clearly Avonte Maddox ain't it no more. He simply is not it. I want to talk about a topic that has ruffled some feathers in the NFC East, but I don't care. What do? We keep it real. We keep it a bean. We keep it a stack. Jaden Daniels fears me more than Dak Prescott. I will say it again. Jaden Daniels fears me more than Dak Prescott in the NFC East. But it's been Cowboys fans, people saying, oh, well, you saw what Dak Prescott has done to the Eagles. I don't care. I'm talking about fearing what they could do, not just in the NFC East, what they could do in the NFC. Because Dak Prescott has not done anything. Hasn't gone to an NFC championship game. And at 31 years old, I believe we've seen the best of Dak Prescott. I don't think he's going to show us something crazy different that he hasn't shown us in the past. He already came off a career season being an MVP candidate, and he ended up getting blasted by a first-year starter in Jordan Love. We don't fear Dak Prescott. He doesn't fear us in our quest to make it to the Super Bowl. But Jaden Daniels, right now, and for the next 10 years, oh, yeah. I mean, you talk about the Commanders have put together 23 scoring drives, and Jaden Daniels has 19 incomplete passes. So they have more scoring drives than Jaden Daniels has incomplete passes. And you want to tell me I shouldn't fear Jaden Daniels more than Dak Prescott? You're fried and you're living in the past. We're not living in the past. We're living in right now. And right now, Jaden Daniels is the truth. He has superstar written all over him. And I'll be honest, let's just say an alien. Hear me out, y'all. Let's just say an alien dropped down on planet Earth and they saw Dak Prescott play. They saw Jaden Daniels play. They saw Jalen Hurts play, not knowing anything else outside of what we have seen this season. They're saying that Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback. And if you don't say otherwise, or if you say otherwise, you're capping yourself. You're capping to yourself. And so ultimately, Jaden Daniels is that guy. He's one of them ones, and he got my full support. Outside of being an Eagles fan, I want to see him succeed. I like his makeup and all that. But being an Eagles fan, loving Philly through and through, I don't want this guy to succeed, bro. But that's what it is. Sixers time, bro. Let's get into the Sixers real quick, and then we'll get into my Week 5 predictions. Jared McCain has been hooping during training camp. And you heard Joel Embiid. He's a great shooter. He's come to play. He's come to compete. And I am so excited for what Jared McCain is going to do and bring an extra element of offensive firepower on this Sixers team. I will say this about Jared McCain. By the end of this season, well, really, by the end of next season, Jared McCain will be the sixth man with the Sixers. He will be a great player coming off the bench, and I will say that he's going to be just like Lou Williams. I mean, he's going to be a freaking star off the bench for us, bro, because I don't see him starting with Tyrese Maxey. I think that's a little bit much, But what we're going to see is when Tyrese Maxey is off the bench, when he's on the bench, what are we going to see? Jared McCain come in, shoot the lights out, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised the league let the Sixers take Jared McCain. I'm so confused as to why the league allowed the Sixers to get Jared McCain at that low. Oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate it. I ain't mad, but y'all tripping. Did you not see what he did at Duke? Did you not see what he has done being a great shooter? Come on. And he's going to show us this in the NBA. I got full confidence in him. Let's talk about the Sixers and the Knicks. The Knicks are so overrated, and it gets me annoyed when I still have to talk about them and how overrated they are. Why are the Knicks overrated? So the Knicks took the Sixers to 6 games with Joel Embiid off one leg and Tobias Harris giving us nothing. So what do you think is going to happen if Joel Embiid is healthy and if the Sixers add Paul George, who is a much better player than Tobias Harris? All we ask for Paul George to do is be better than Tobias Harris. Because if Paul George is better than Tobias Harris, which he obviously will be because Tobias Harris gave us nothing, nil, nada, nothing at all, what we're going to see is a Sixers team blow the heck out of a Knicks team. Yes, did the Knicks get better? They did. But also in getting better, they lost their toughness. They lost their grit. I'm not worried about Karl Anthony Towns, dog. Joel Embiid is going to cook the hell out of him. I'm trying to tell y'all. He will. It's going to get bad. So Knicks fans' only hope is for Joel Embiid to be injured. That's their only hope. And what they always hope is for somebody to be injured. And then when the tables got turned on them, what do I say? Every dog has its day. Then y'all want to cry about injuries when you beat the Sixers in 6 games with Joel Embiid off one leg. Y'all not that good, dog. Y'all not that good, dog. And Mikal Bridges is shooting like Ben Simmons right now. I like Mikal Bridges a lot. He brought me great memories with Villanova in high school and all that. But, let's not act like y'all some world beaters. So I would still have the Celtics as the best team in the East. But the Sixers are number 2. They're number 2. If you have to say, oh, yeah, we're better because your best player is injured, yes, that's corny, bro. That's corny, bro. Because Michael Jordan, he would always say this, that he would want to see his opponents be at full strength so he knows he can beat them and there's no excuses. But y'all be wanting to face the Sixers with Joel Embiid not being at 100% because that's the only way that you can win. But you know damn well if Joel Embiid is at 100% or anywhere close to it, you're not winning nothing, dog. Not winning nothing. So that's my talk on them. They're so overrated, dog, and I can't wait for everybody to see how overrated they are. Let's get into Week 5 NFL predictions. Jets versus Vikings. The Vikings are favored, but they're favored by a small point spread. Now, this is going to be an early game in London. There's a reason why the Vikings are a small favorite against the Jets. And you got to think, right? There's trends. There's always trends. So what happened last week? What happened last week was the Vikings had a great win. They're undefeated 4-0, and they went ahead and beat their division rival away in the Packers. Meanwhile, the Jets are coming off an upset loss to the Broncos, where the Broncos generated barely any offense, and they still lost. Look at this. If the Vikings are barely a favorite, what that tells me is that the wise guys, as they say, are the guys that really make money off this betting stuff, believe that the Vikings are going to get shut down by this Jets defense. What do I mean by that? Let me just tell y'all this. The Vikings are great against the blitz, but the Jets don't blitz that often. The Jets are 15th in the league at blitz rate at 27%. However, despite not blitzing that much, like being middle of the pack, they are fourth best in the NFL at generating pressure. On the Vikings offense side, the Vikings are phenomenal against the blitz. Sam Darnold, who's having a career year already, has basically been perfect against the blitz. He's 9 for 9 with 227 yards, 25 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, and a perfect passer rating of 158.3. But if the Jets can get home with 4, that gives the advantage to the Jets. My last point on this, the Vikings are ranked 23rd in passing defense. So yes, their rushing defense is great, but it's going to be on Aaron Rodgers to have himself a day and throw a party against the Vikings. I like the Jets in a low-scoring game to go ahead and get that upset win. Panthers versus Bears. I'm not going to talk too much on this, but I got the Bears. I mean, the Bears are coming off a great win against the Rams. Caleb Williams is getting better each week. DJ Moore is going to have that reunion against the Panthers. I believe he will go off. I look for the Bears to look to try to set him up for success in this game. Give me the Bears to beat the Panthers, as well as the Bears defense is so nice. I mean, I know the Panthers have scored some points, but they ain't faced no defense like the Bears. I like the Bears in that one. Ravens versus Bengals. The Ravens passing defense is horrific. It's terrible. Flat out terrible. They are also 25th in drop back success rate. So what does that mean? That means when Joe Burrow drops back, it's about to get bad. And despite the Bengals not being that good, Joe Burrow has been lights out. Joe Burrow has been lights out. And that's what I'm going to say. Joe Burrow has flat out been lights out. So I like the Bengals at home to go ahead and pull off the upset. I was kind of surprised that they are an underdog. I can see why, given the fact that the Bengals defense hasn't looked that good. And the Ravens are coming off 2 performances where Derrick Henry has looked unstoppable. But I like the Bengals to go ahead and beat the Ravens. Now the Bills versus Texans. I like the Texans to win. The Texans defense is going to show up. They have allowed the 5th fewest yards in the league. I think it's going to be a tough environment for the Bills to be in. At Houston, it's going to be rocking. I like CJ Stroud to come up clutch and get the Texans a win. Colts versus Jaguars. All right, hear me out. So the Jaguars are 0-4 right now. But I don't expect them to go 0-5 with an Anthony Richardson who is not 100%, and Jonathan Taylor, who, if he plays, is not going to be 100%. Now, yes, the Colts have Joe Flacco, and he has shown that, look, he might be old, but he still be getting busy. And I do believe that Michael Pittman Jr. is going to have himself a day against this Jaguars secondary. But I just don't think that this Jaguars team goes 0-5. Like 0-5, I mean, at that point, you got to fire Doug Peterson. I know he's been on the hot seat. He doesn't want to say that he is. That's my guy still. Shout out the Birds. But I like the Jaguars to get their first win of the season. Dolphins versus Patriots. The Patriots are not a good football team. Yes, the Dolphins have looked horrific without Tua. And I have said that Mike McDaniel is overrated because this offense should not look this bad without Tua. Tua is, a good quarterback, a very good quarterback, but this offense shouldn't look this bad when you have Tyreek Hill, You have A-Chain. You have Jalen Waddle. I mean, you got offensive playmakers to make something shake. And I think that it was a lot for Huntley to be against a ferocious Titans defense. However, I believe in Huntley and actually Mike McDaniel with their backs against the wall, because if they lose this game, their season's over. I mean, lose to the Patriots. I mean, come on. Your division, it's over. So I believe that the Dolphins go ahead in a low-scoring game, get the win, and the Patriots have too many. They have injuries in their secondary, injuries on their defensive line, on their offensive line. That's why they haven't brought out Drake May. I like the Dolphins to go ahead and pull it out. Let's go to the Browns versus Commanders. I done talked up Jayden Daniels so much. I would be shocked if the Browns pull off the upset. I'm surprised the Commanders aren't favored by more. I'm going to just check this. I'm going to check this game, like this like little spread real quick on the game. They're minus 3.5. They should be favored more than that. I mean, let me say this. I will bet against Deshaun Watson every single time. Every single time. He has not shown me anything since 2020. I'm picking the Commanders to pull off that win. Raiders versus Broncos. The Broncos are treading in the right direction. Their defense has been phenomenal. Bo Nix, like Caleb Williams, getting comfortable each game. I like the Broncos against the Raiders. And a big reason also is because there's just too much dysfunction with this Raiders team, bro. Give me the Broncos. Cardinals versus 49ers. The 49ers should win. I mean, yeah, it's a divisional game, but the 49ers are getting more healthy. You got Kittle back, got Debo back. Fred Warner is playing like a defensive player of the year candidate. Purdy has been on another level. I like the 49ers to pull that out. Packers versus Rams. This is a tough one. They're at SoFi, but I ain't going to lie. SoFi is going to be with a lot of Packers fans there. It's going to be a lot of Packers fans there. I like the Packers to go ahead and beat the Rams, who are still riddled with injuries. They are riddled with injuries for sure. I think the Packers are coming off a loss against the Vikings that got them mad. I like Matt LaFleur to go ahead and, scheme up some nice and put up some points on the board against this Rams defense that hasn't been able to stop a parked car. Giants versus Seahawks. I like the Seahawks in this. I mean, they've been able to beat the bad teams, and they had a valiant effort against the Lions without a lot of their defensive linemen. Give me the Seahawks and Geno to have themselves a day. Cowboys versus Steelers. Give me the Steelers. Look. The Cowboys defending the run against the Giants was an outlier. They're not going to do that stuff again. I also believe in the Steelers to get some takeaways in this game. I believe in the Steelers in prime time to show up. They always show up against the teams that – it's weird. Like, the Steelers show up against the teams that, like, everyone thinks are really good. But against the teams that aren't that good, a lot of times they play down to their competition. So I got the Steelers winning this one. Saints versus Chiefs. I'm going to keep betting against the Saints when they don't have Eric McCoy. Give me the Chiefs without Rashee Rice. But I believe that Xavier Worthy and Juju Smith-Schuster will have themselves a day. I like the Chiefs. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, man, make some moolah. Make a little parlay, man. Make a little parlay on that, John. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Real talk. We out.